We turn now to Joe Mazzello. You may remember him as the little boy in Jurassic Park, but now this 27-year-old Hollywood veteran is one of the stars of HBO's $200 million miniseries, The Pacific. Joe, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing? You must be very excited about this new series. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, very excited. Actually, we were talking about going to the White House before. I got to go there. I got to meet the president yesterday, and so that was a pretty big thrill.
Wow, yeah.
And last 3 weeks we've kind of been touring the country, going to different military sites and trying to get the word out and talk to some veterans.
Tell us what we can expect a little bit from the show. I mean, I understand that the three main characters are based on real people who fought in World War II. You play Eugene Sledge, who was a lieutenant in the Army, is that right?
No, private.
Oh, private.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you follow the three stories, and I think that's kind of what makes this series special, is that you get to see these guys, just who they were before the war, just kind of as kids, and then why they wanted to get into the war, how they got into it, what happened to them during it, and then how they came out of it if they did it all. And so you really get the full scope of what it's like to be a Marine, what it was like to be in World War II in the Pacific.
It sounds fantastic. How did you get cast for this role?
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
I went in front of a casting director, and then she seemed to like me, so then I went in front of a producer, and then another producer, and then another one, and finally, the fifth audition was in front of Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks.
More power to you. You
Total
really
yawn,
did
you know?
do it the old-fashioned way.
Yes.
That's great. So, obviously, you're perfect for this character. Tell us a little bit about him. I mean, I understand it was your character's real-life memoirs that inspired the film. I'm assuming you read them?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I mean, and that was one of the first things that I went to was his memoir. I would actually even bring it to set with me and read passages from it that we were going to be filming that day. So it was really nice. I felt like I had, you know, the actual directions from the man himself telling me what to do and how he was feeling in any particular moment.
And where and how did you guys shoot all the war scenes? I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but we hear that those are supposed to be phenomenal.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. We shot in Australia. They did a year of post-production on this, and I didn't know why, because I felt like every single thing that I see when I watch the show was there when I was doing it. You know, every explosion was right there, every you know, chest falling apart, every man blowing up. I felt like it was all right there in front of us, and so they really made it extremely authentic, an extremely authentic experience for us.
Oh, we can't wait to see. Now, tell us what it was like working with huge Hollywood names like Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg. I mean, it really doesn't get any bigger than those names right there.
It's true. You know, it's very true. You know that you're going to get the highest quality when you're working with those two individuals. And obviously, I'd worked with Steven before in my career, so this was kind of a full circle thing for me to be able to work with him again. And so it's
right.
It's amazing. I mean, I'd do it every day if I could.
Right. Now, tell us a little bit about your own interests aside from the acting. Did you have any interest in World War II or history before all this came about, or is this something you've discovered since working on the series?
Well, I've discovered it even more, but definitely I did. My grandfather actually served in the Pacific. He was in the Army, and even though we depict Marines in the show, I really felt like I was telling his story. And so, like, I had every reason in the world to want to do this project, you know, from the names attached to it, from the subject matter, and then finally that own personal connection with my grandfather having served.
Absolutely. That must be very special for you.
Very special.
Absolutely. Now, in addition to the Pacific, you recently got to work alongside Justin Timberlake
I did.
for the movie The Social Network.
Yes.
Now, in that, you play Dustin Moskovitz, is that right?
Moskovitz, yeah, close.
And he's one of the founders.
I didn't know how to pronounce it either.
Yeah, right. We're all in the dark here. He's one of the founders of Facebook, though. So this movie is really a sign of the times. Tell us a little bit about it.
It was great. It was really cool, just because, especially thinking about the Pacific and like where I had just been, you know, this Marine, this like war hero, and then going to a computer nerd. And I just remember one day sitting in front of a computer, just clicking a mouse and clicking 0011 and just laughing to myself about, this is the same job.
Yeah.
Both of these things are being an actor.
Right.
But David Fincher was amazing. Justin Timberlake was really great. He showed me some moves. I'm just kidding.
Right.
Let's
see.
No, but my parents are dance teachers, so they could teach me some too.
Oh, really?
But,
look at that. We got a little tidbit out of you, but then I bet nobody else ever did.
There you go. But and Jesse Eisenberg too, I should mention. He's so fantastic in this, and it was great to work with those guys. It was a total blast. Loved
now,
it.
tell us a little bit about your role on Jurassic Park, because I guess for a lot of people, until they see Pacific and these other things, that's you're best known for that role. You were only 7. right? Or 10? No, 10. You were 10 in Jurassic Park. Is that right?
Close. I turned 9 while I was doing it.
Oh my gosh! How did you survive Hollywood? I mean, you've really bucked the trend. Child actors, they never survive.
The way I survived it was by not going there. I grew up in upstate New York in a town called Poughkeepsie, and I have great parents, and they kept me really grounded. And I would go to these amazing locations and do these crazy things, and then I would come back home and be a normal kid. I would play kickball with my friends, play in the leaves, snow days, the whole thing. And so I think that having that regular life really kept me a sane individual.
All right. Well, clearly they kept you grounded. Joe Mazzello, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And be sure to tune into The Pacific this Sunday at 9 p.m. on HBO. That's all the buzz we have for you today. I'm Tanya Rivero in New York. Thanks for watching.
ABC News Now. Good to know.